Look at this.
What?
Shalom, family.
Sick of stream
Oh,
yard?
yeah, sick of StreamYard. Shalom, family. Oh, my
Hey,
goodness.
y'all. Just
That
having a little
was
small dilemma
that was a struggle.
getting this thing
That
to
was a whole struggle.
work correctly.
All right, so I guess we're just gonna sit here.
Yeah, we don't get on too often, so it's
gonna have to say we probably have to sound an alarm because everybody's probably like, what in the world is going on?
right.
I guess we're just gonna start talking because I don't know if anybody's gonna enter the building right now because they're probably like, what in the world?
Well,
There we go.
Hey, Derek.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Shalom, shalom. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're trying to figure out the StreamYard situation. I don't know. I don't know if it's like, I don't know. It's just me personally. I don't like technology too much. And so apparently it doesn't agree with me very, very much. So shalom, shalom.
Shalom, y'all.
Thank y'all for coming in. Thank y'all for coming in. Did I bump it already?
Yeah, no.
Thank y'all for being patient while we try to figure this out. Hopefully it records. It says it's not. I don't.
Did it still give you that prompt that
it did? It did give me the. Well, it said that it wouldn't save it on StreamYard, but I guess
it doesn't have to be saved on
as long as it's on YouTube. Then
okay. So we got on to talk about current events. The thing is, we're not trying to be repetitive because YouTube especially has been definitely saturated with all the stuff that we know is going on. So, Brandy and I were debating like, man, should we even get on? Because we don't want to be repetitive. And that's not what we're trying to do. We just, do what we always do, just share our thoughts about different things that have happened. And I think we have a couple of points, especially bouncing off other videos that we saw and things like that. Some ideas that really came together for us. And to sum all of this up, I think that we should definitely be excited about this time period because this is we have seen so much change in a short amount of time that you know that
my glasses, it fogged up when I took a sip of the tea. Yeah. Okay.
This is her first pair of glasses, so there's certain stuff that she's not used to.
I took a sip of tea and it like fogged it up. And I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was bizarre.
So the last video that we made when we came on, I thought it was pre-election, right? And I was quite certain that this nation wasn't even going to get Trump as a president. What I was expecting was a turnaround. We were expecting some sort of flip in this election. We were expecting the unexpected. So Trump actually being elected was unexpected to me. I thought they was going to try to do something crazy to get, people to riot or whatever. I was expecting a massive letdown around the Trump situation. And reflecting on that, that's exactly what I got. I got a massive turnaround, but it wasn't the way I was expecting it to be. Trump is our current president, and immediately it seems things started developing that Brandy and I think is connected to our exit out of this nation.
And I think last time we spoke, I was quite certain, just imagining them rounding people up and shipping them out. I thought that there was going to be a fight. And with that being said, they didn't. They haven't. They have targeted. Shalom, Pastor Rick. They have targeted some gang members and stuff like that, but I was quite certain that they were going to go out swinging, and we have not seen that thus far. So I was pretty shocked about that. But with that being said, we have seen I it's been an incredible ride the last few
Yeah.
months, 4 months. We're in like I don't know, like 10th gear right now. It's incredible and it's amazing to um be here because we are literally witnessing like all the events surrounding like us. We're literally in the middle of prophecy, right? We're prophecy being fulfilled in an exponential fashion, and it's very very exciting, and it makes me very anxious too, also very anxious, because of the fact that we can see like how close we are to um us leaving this nation. I honestly feel like I've felt like this over the years, but in light of everything that's happening, I honestly feel like this is our year. But it could be next year, it could be the year after. I can't imagine 2 years from now, but this definitely feels like our year. So there was a couple of points that we wanted to make. We were talking about, we obviously we always talk,
Hmm.
and yeah, we twinning. Shalom, sis. There's a couple of things that came to our mind. Just discussing. Okay.
That's it.
Just discussing. Everything that we're seeing, and so one of the things that I wanted to bring up was when you spoke about uh, the beast system and how this essentially is going to be like another Inquisition. And I
Right.
don't know if anybody touched on that, but this
I
was something that we were discussing maybe a
well
couple of months
well
ago.
yeah, I did hear, um I may have heard, um Tay Ministries mention the Inquisition, and there's another point that I want to touch on too that I may have heard Jacoba recently speak about, because I was thinking along the same lines. Um as far as a Inquisition though, what we have to understand about how Bible prophecy is coming about is one thing, and that's the curses flipping from being on Israel and Judah specifically, um, flipping on her enemies. And we can see the makings, and we've been seeing the makings of this current captivity in the beast system for quite some time.
I'm sorry,
For,
I
for,
just
for
clicked
quite
to
some
get it.
time, especially incrementally, going back as far as the advent of credit cards, or then you got digital currency. Um, even our bank accounts, as we know it, is just a couple of numbers that somebody punched in. Um, all taking us away from a non-physical currency um, into a
Did you?
taking our livelihood from a physical currency to a non-physical currency. And there's many things in between, many dots that we can draw. But the main thing that I've been pondering is the upcoming captivity that is happening, and that we have been, if you've been watching for a while, if you're familiar with uh say Bill Cooper, for example, William B. Cooper or Bill Cooper, has been speaking about a lot of things, speaking about this beast system coming into place since the 90s. And surely it's been a work way before that. Of course it has, but we are now seeing the full manifestation of what is happening.
May I comment?
Mhm.
Say that when we were talking about the Inquisition, when you brought that up, you said that it's the same. Okay, you know how they chased us, and basically you convert or die. And so essentially it's the same thing with this new B system. Either you're going to convert, either you're going to take this mark, or you're going to die.
Mhm.
And so I thought that was an aha moment for me because I was like, yo, it's literally the same thing. It seems like everything that happened to us, birth rates, shout out to Gates of Holder for that. Everything that happened to us is literally turning and happening to the nations.
Mhm.
And so again, when you said that, like it's going to be a convert or die type situation, just like we went through. They will chase you, they will kill you, they will whatever the case.
Mhm.
I was like, whoa, like that's amazing. I'm not necessarily in a good way, but it's amazing, that everything is going to is transitioning over. It's like trading places.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um and so that was a major
Yeah.
major moment and
Yeah.
understanding for me.
And I've been doing a little bit of research on the concept of fascism because, to be quite honest, I'm not a scholar when it comes to those type of things in terms that are put on different types of rulerships and governments and philosophies and ways of operating and controlling a society. I'm not very good at that. But what I did kind of glean from my research is that, uh, and this is going to lead into something else. Fascism, as far as the uprise of a fascist system or system of government, um, a lot of the biggest target for a fascist system is young people.
Mm.
Young people. Now, with that in mind, we know that tons of history that has been surrounding our people in this country, all the things that we've done and accomplished, and things like that, is just so conveniently disappearing, right? Um, Jacobo mentioned that earlier. We've been seeing this over and throughout the months. Like what's a bit, but I remember that. How you gonna take that out of history? Like who? Like it's not for me or
Yeah.
us that remember is not for us. What it is for as far as wiping out our history as far as being in this country. And we're going to touch on the Noahide laws too, because that goes hand in hand with a
With the beast,
inquisition
with
with an
the
inquisition
Inquisition.
like
Yeah. Yep.
situation.
Yep.
Um, uh, but what I believe is that this upcoming fascist system is going to be um, something that obviously erases the past, is going to be filled with revisionist history and things like that. And it's not going to be for people that are consciously aware of all these things happening right now, because it would be pointless to erase something that
That
we
we all know
obviously
about.
know.
So it's for
So
future generations,
right,
right?
right.
And
Because
they
eventually, because look what they did to us, as
yes.
far as the transatlantic slave trade and the whole process of it, right? They took the young people, they
Yep.
took the young brothers into the Catholic Church and indoctrinated them enough to convince them to go help uh, 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 capture their own people.
Yeah.
But they could not take those. They wouldn't be able to do that if they were old enough to see what's happening. Like, no, you just, you murdered my whole family, things like that during the Inquisition, things like that. Uh, why, so they would have to take the young people, indoctrinate the young people, and eventually we forget who we are. All of a sudden, we don't got a clue who we are.
And what do you mean by young people? You mean the children?
Children,
Children of these
yes,
of
or
these
even
of
of a
these
specific generation. You
yeah.
know, especially people, young people who are living with their parents, not really paying attention to what's happening right now, don't really care, not aware of it. This is what the revision of history is for, in my opinion, not for all of us that know what's happening. And I think it's all part of the plan because, like we were discussing earlier, um, we know how miraculous the second Exodus is going to be, right? And it's going to be remembered throughout the land. No one's going to talk about the first Exodus. It's going to be about the second Exodus, right? But all of a sudden, time goes on, and we read in Scripture that there's going to be people that are going to attempt to come into Jerusalem and take a spoil. And how can that be? How can that be if the Exodus is so huge that nobody would? I mean, if I was a part of another nation and I seen exactly how it would happen, and depending on how it will happen. All I know is that Scripture says that it's going to be more miraculous than the first Exodus. So if that's the case, there's got to be a revision of history in line in order to, and even if it's hundreds of years down the line, even if it's hundreds of years down the line, we see that we see how long it took
For them to erase
for us to erase our identity, because you best believe that. I mean, it's horrible as the transatlantic trip, or I don't even call it that, transport here to North America was. They didn't just forget. They didn't immediately forget that they were Hebrews, right? It took maybe a good 100 years. It took a lot of taking the young people, indoctrinating them, and then rebranding them. You know, making them rebranding them and rebranding us at the same time. So that's what I feel like is happening right now. When people see that this, that, and a third of our history is being erased, I see a lot of people get upset, and that's because I don't believe that they really understand what's happening right now.
It's a reset.
Yes,
It's a reset. And if I could, I don't know, because I try to guess reiterate what you said. So basically, they are erasing, in your opinion, erasing our history so that they can call it re-educate or indoctrinate the younger folk. Basically, we're not. It's going to be like we were never here, right?
at least that's what they're going to attempt to do. At least that's what they're going to attempt to do, because um, essentially the beast system will be fascist, which is like a radical nationalism.
Mm.
I think that's one of the definitions of characteristics of a fascist community is radical nationalism, right? And I mean, isn't that what we're seeing right now? I seen somebody with a MAGA hat today. It blew my mind.
Mm.
I'm like, you let me know, if you're happy. Apparently, uh, because I don't know, I mean, we don't have a dog in this fight, and
That's because it's not about us fighting. It's just about the Most High is making way for us to lead this nation. I mean, everything is just shifting into place, and at a very fast rate. And I keep saying that because it is so fast. So much has happened since technically it was the end of the year, right? Because our new year just began, but it's at the end of the actual end of the year, January, February. You know what I mean? March, early March, and everything. We've seen so much transpire. And that's because the Most High is getting ready to open up that door so that we can get on up out of here. He's going to open a door and make a way for us to exit this place. And so, you know, them going ahead, they're already ahead of the game as far as erasing us, so that once we do leave, like you said, it only took maybe 100, maybe 200 years, maybe it took 200 years to beat it out of us and torture out of us who we were, and so on and so forth. And then next thing you know, we have no clue who we are. They're not going to beat it or torture it out of them. They're just going to erase it. They were never. Those people don't even exist. It's like they're going to make us. They're trying to make us not exist again, but in a different fashion. You know what I mean? Not toward us, but toward their own people.
Because if they had it their way, they would just eliminate us.
But they can't.
So what's the next best thing?
And I hope it's coming out clear. I apologize, sir.
I think I mean
I hope it's coming out clear
I've
because
seen,
it's like off the top of the head, but it's like when you're trying to reason, it's like, okay, they're not going to beat it out of them. They're just going to erase it.
why
You
beat
know
it
what I
out of
mean?
them when they could just hack their minds, apparently,
Yeah.
like they will be able to by 2030,
Yes.
and they won't know
Yes.
if they're thinking or if the AI is thinking
Yep.
for them.
Yep.
Technology is the engine and is the engine behind all this, because the captivity that our people endured, even prior to this current captivity, other captivities, it was location based. And though the captivity of the beast system, they will be in this location.
Yeah.
They might be somewhere way off in their brain.
Like, what's that movie that
This Minority Report. I keep
was that
mentioning.
Minority Report?
Well,
There was
it
another
depends.
movie. It was like a Repo Man or something like that. It was him and someone else. Was it Forrest Whitaker? It was Forrest Whitaker and it was someone else, and they repoed body parts, and something ended up happening. They ended up getting to a fight, and they put him somewhere on a beach with his girlfriend or whatever. You know
I think
what
I
I mean?
vaguely
So
remember. I think I
that's
vaguely remember watching that.
we watched it together.
You know what I'm saying?
But yes.
Yeah.
So with technology, it is technological. Something else another point I wanted to mention before I forget it, and it may be out of, may not be flowing into from one thing to the other, but I don't want to forget this. So we were talking about, okay, so we're in a position, right? Okay, so we, we believe that we are the restrainer, right? And this is something that I spoke about when I first, maybe when I was on Facebook, and I first on Facebook before I made a YouTube channel.
It's like
I did a Facebook video when I talked about the fact that I believe that we are the restrainer, right? And
he who letteth will let
until he is taken out of the way, and then that wicked will be revealed. And so, with that being said, I feel like we're in a position right now where it's like they can't destroy us. They tried. In 20, I mean, they've been trying this whole time, but in 2020, it was like a full-fledged, like
massive,
massive, right, massive extermination attempt. Obviously, it didn't happen. And so if we are the restrainer, and he who now letteth will let, or he who restrains will restrain until he's removed out of the way, and then the wicked will be revealed. They can't get what they want. They can't. That we can see it forming right all around us. We can see the beast system forming all around us, but they can't get that full completion with us here. And so I was speculating, right? Okay, what would you do if you were wicked? If you were evil, right? And you knew that you cannot fight with Yah. You can't fight with Yah. These demons can't fight with Yah, but you're like, okay, we hate these people, but we can't have what we want unless they leave, right? So however our birth looks, however that looks, how we don't know exactly how that's going to transpire, what that's going to look like on a spiritual or physical level. We read about the healing. We read about Gentiles coming to the brightness of our rising. We read about how surprised people are. We read about all these things, but we until we walk through it, we won't get the full picture of how it's going to be, when we physically experience it. So all that being said, if you were evil, if you were wicked, and you know that you cannot have your beast system, you want it. They're trying to crash this system. They're trying so hard to crash this system right now to bring in this new system, right? To get this thing, cracking the way they want. But if you knew you couldn't get it with Yah's people here, what if they let us go? Like for instance, with them trying to remove birthright citizenship, they removed birthright citizenship, and that was based on us, right? And they're okay. If I'm understanding correctly, that would mean if they remove that, that means that we are not citizens anymore. So therefore, we would have to leave. So bear with me as I try to explain this. So again, if you were evil and wicked, and you said, okay, we can't have. They're holding this back. They're holding this back, right? They're holding it back from us getting what we want, full reign over the world, whatever the case, for a short period of time. If you knew you couldn't get it with us here, why not? Okay, they're not citizens anymore. Okay, let them go. Right? Let them go. Okay, and we were to. They say we get kicked out of the country. Right? We get kicked out of the country, and they let us go so that they could get their system. Revelation 12, we read that the dragon chases the woman and tries to essentially tries to eliminate her. Yeah, with a flood, right? So what it looks like to me, if I were to, I guess, piece this together in my mind, it would look like, what if they decide to let us go just like they did in the first Exodus, right? And then chase us out and try to kill us. You get what I'm saying? So that's what it seems like in Revelation 12. So
It sounds
have your
parallel to the first Exodus.
have your cake,
Try
right.
to,
Have your cake and eat it too. We can't get what we want with them here because they're restraining, they're withholding. So we let them go. Well, we kick them out. But then we try to kill them. So maybe in their minds, they can get their B system and they can eliminate us at the same time. Just a thought. Hope that was clear, but that was a thought that came into my mind because of the fact that why would you, if removing birthright citizenship would essentially mean that we are not citizens anymore, and therefore that we can't stay here, right?
right.
Then yeah, I don't know why that.
I'd like to move that, but I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Then why would you do that? My only thought or my reasoning behind that is, well, they can't get what they want with us here, so they're just going to try to push us out and then try to eliminate us along the way. Revelation 12. They're not going to get that, obviously, because the scripture says that the earth helps us, swallows the flood, the dragon is wroth, and he goes to make war with the rest of it, right? And so, but it seems like that is a possibility, because why would you remove, if you don't want us to leave, then you would not remove birthright citizenship. You wouldn't do it. You would try your best to hold us here, but they can't hold us here and get what it is that they're trying to build. You know what I mean? Which is what we see. So,
and
I feel like I'm looking up.
Yes, yeah,
I'm looking up and
you're focusing on that little middle bar. You can get
Okay.
to it.
Okay. I don't know. That,
So
that might
this is
sound
this is a
random,
this
but
is
it's
a
just
and this is why we're excited. This is why we're excited because of the amount of things that specifically have to do with us
Mm-hmm.
coming up, missing, like our history, like a
Yeah.
recent history. We're not
Yeah.
even talking about history that across, this platform, people have been digging up information and doing their due diligence and all this stuff. All right. We're not even talking about that. We're talking about Harriet Tubman.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
It is exciting. Yeah.
this is one of those times, because I'm not really, how will I say this? I'm not necessarily, I don't get very excited over every little thing that happens, every little single development, um, for personal reasons. Um, because whatever happens is going to happen in Father Yah's time. We cannot be children and so closely monitor every single little thing, because we're children. We have to, at some point, just let the Most High do what He's doing. And now we see Him moving things, because
It's shifting.
it's shifting. It's supernaturally shifting. If you all agree that the shifts that are happening are so profound and swift,
And major.
it's like warp speed.
No pun intended. You're crazy.
So as far as, and I just wanted to touch on this because just further explanation of what you were thinking, because you didn't quite explain how, but um, I'm willing to believe that once we are on our way out of this country, however we're out of this country, I'm willing to believe that the flood represented in Revelation 12 can either be a flood of people or some sort of weaponized weather,
Yeah.
weaponized weather, system. that HARP may have has definitely has the capable uh definitely has the capability of developing.
Hmm.
Um
They've done it plenty of times.
Engineered storms, basically. Um and that's all I want to really touch on as far as that Satan is so, not just Satan, but it's, the whole kingdom of darkness. I don't think that they are intelligent sometimes. It's like
Not at all.
it's a group it's like a group, it's like a room full of smart dumb people. That's kind of how I feel about the kingdom of darkness, because you keep trying to get what you won't get,
Yeah.
and you keep working against the most high,
Yeah.
and you won't win,
Yeah.
and you come up with everything under the sun, and influence your human minions to do your bidding, all for naught.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's confusing a little bit, because I would want to repent if I was, if I mean if I mean even I couldn't, if I, let's say if I was a fallen angel, or anything like that. But there is no relent when it comes to their wickedness.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put it past them to somehow, to some sort of flood. It's going to be something that is meant to
Yeah.
take us out.
Yes, it is.
And it could be whatever.
Yes, it is.
It doesn't matter what it is, really,
Yeah.
because the earth is gonna open up, uh, and we'll be safe, and we're gonna go into the wilderness, and we're going to, be get drawn closer to Father God from that point on. Unless you're a rebel. So
Yeah.
um, all of this is exciting. I can't find myself getting mad about them removing the Black Lives Matter paint.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Or anything
or
of the sort,
anything
because
like this.
yeah, it just lets you know how close we are. All this shifting around us and stuff, like it just, like, okay, like we are literally, I mean, we are beyond the cusp. I mean, we are literally there. We're there. And so everything, I mean, anything, stock markets, or oh, China has tariffs on it, what, 125, with 125%,
Yeah.
or whatever the case. Oh, things are going to be so much more expensive. Yeah, but you know good and well that the Most High is not going to have us here, not going to have us here in a situation where we cannot, as a people, survive, especially if, okay, he tells the curses are flipping, right? And so this is not our judgment. And therefore, this is not our judgment. We're not, the Most High is not going to have us enduring this situation much longer. So, people are like, oh, it's going to be so expensive. It's going to be, oh, it's going to, and gas and food and this, that, and the other. I'm not worried at all, not one bit, because that just shows me how close we are to the Most High delivering us.
Mhm.
Okay, great. The more that happens, the closer we get. You know what I mean? And so I, I I'm just happy. I'm just happy, and I try. It's hard for me. Like, okay, man, I'm happy and fed up at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like you going through the closer you get, the more fed up you get. Like, man, I can't wait to get out of this country, man. Good gracious, I'm so excited. I can't wait. And you don't even want to. I don't even want to. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know that the Most High has us. There's nothing to worry about. There really isn't. There isn't anything to fret about, anything to keep you up at night, because unless you're being kept up because you're excited, because this is really the time of our deliverance, right?
Mhm.
And that deliverance is, I mean, if the Most High just making a way. We don't. There's a lot of ways, different ways we can speculate this, and that goes in. We can move into Iran. The situation with Iran tomorrow. Supposedly, Trump is supposed to have a conversation with Iran. They have all this stuff, so all these bombers and everything set up, right, position to bomb Iran. He already said that they would bomb Iran if Iran does not come to an agreement with them in regard to their nuclear program, that they're going to bomb them. Okay, So they're supposed to have a conversation again tomorrow at some time. And if they don't come to an agreement, then he said he's going to do the obvious. And the obvious is to bomb. Now, if they bomb them, I'm thinking, okay, you bomb them, right? Remember how there was this ex-CIA agent talking about how there were sleeper cells all throughout the United States, and they have already decided they're going to attack, and they're just waiting for a moment to collectively attack. If I feel like this is, my personal opinion, I feel like if or rather when they bomb Iran, then we may see the rise of sleeper cell. Okay, now all of a sudden people are coming out of the woodwork and stuff, crazy stuff like that. But before her pain came, she was delivered of a man child, right? And so Isaiah 66, I was reading that today. And so I mean, and just everything that I mean, it's all happening all at once. And it's not, if you would have asked me 2 3 years ago if I thought that we would still be in this country today, I would say no. But now if you ask me, now I see why the buildup, I see why we had to be here for this time frame. I see how it's led up to this point. And now we're at a point where if you ask me if we're going to be here 2 3 years from now, I would say how, especially with everything that's happening at such a fast rate, but then also with this whole rise of the AI thing, when they're talking about by 2028, you won't know the difference between your mind and AI. They're going to merge people by 2028. Okay, well, we're almost in the middle of 2025. We'd have to be out of here pretty soon, and again, that's the system that they want. That's the time frame that they want. But if we're here, they can't get it, which goes back to my last point, where if you know you can't have it with us here, what do? Okay, let's remove birthright citizenship, send them out the door, chase them down, have our cake, eat it too. It's not going to work. Therefore, they're going to have to pivot their plan according to Revelation 12, according to prophecy, where they go and they make war with the rest of our seed. So
If one, the rise of a new economy or a new way of government can't start without the destruction of the last one.
and that's why.
And it's not going to look like a controlled demolition. It's not going to be the minimal amount of debris. It's going to be drastic. It's going to be ugly, and it's going to push people toward a beast system. It's going to be bad enough that you will take your UBIs and you'll go your merry way to your 15-minute city rental complex. And you'll see all the flashing lights. Not you'll, but the captives will see all the flashing lights and all the knickknacks and all the things that the latest technology has to offer, and they'll probably fall in line and think it's better than what was happening, under the previous American economy. So if anybody is having trouble understanding what's happening, this is the end of an empire. This is the end of the empire. This we are at the crux. We're at the point of change. Where um, everything has to collapse. It all has to end. So don't be mad. Don't be triggered because you're about to be delivered. I just made that up.
That was cute. That was cute.
And before I forget my thought, I shouldn't even said that. Because that made me forget another point that I wanted to speak on. Oh yeah. So this might not be relevant 2 days from now. Who knows? As far as the tariffs are concerned. But the tariffs, in my opinion, is just another method of destroying the economy, and it has to happen. So if anybody thinks that Trump is doing this, no, he's just holding the pen and flicking it. we have to understand that all these presidents and all these people, maybe not all the presidents, but
Most of them.
most of the presidents that we see are placed there very, very, very selectively,
Mhm.
right? To the point where a lot of these presidents are related.
Mhm.
This is a extension of a of another dynasty, right? And we are witnessing the end of it. And I think the only country that me personally, and I'm no professional when it comes to uh, um, international economics and trade. I think we're all being educated on the specifics of trade right now as far as international. But uh, I think the only country that you really need to put tariffs on in order to cripple the American economy is China.
Yeah, because
To be
they
quite
make
honest,
most of what we
I
use.
could flip over everything in this house and it's made in China.
Yep. Yep. Straight up.
Uh,
Straight up.
and China's not backing down.
No.
Um, and who knows, putting tariffs on every country in the world, including the ones with only penguin populations, um, might have just been a smokescreen to double down on China,
Right.
because I think that's the key component to crippling
This
this
country.
economy.
Yeah. Oh, ooh, can I
Yeah, that was my
make a
point. You
comment
go ahead.
on China? Okay, so I didn't know this, but apparently the United States ships chickens to China to be butchered, to be broken down, because it's cheap. And so China just said that we are not allowing you guys to we're not importing any more chickens. We're not bringing any chickens here to chop up and so on and so forth. And so that's going to cause issues because we don't have the manpower, obviously, to do that in this country. Otherwise, they wouldn't outsource, right?
Not the chicken.
Yeah, not the China.
I'm kidding.
But and so that's going to cause shortages as well, unless they're going to be selling whole chickens. I don't know. But that's major. Also, I saw that China had laws in place. Well, the United States was tripping on China because people in China were making knockoffs of American brands, right, and selling them for cheaper. And China agreed to, deal with that. I'm trying to say they're not stopping them anymore. So if they cannot import, or basically if they don't want to buy American, so therefore they're going to make their own versions of whatever products they want and sell it for cheap and be just fine. China can manufacture. China can do all of this. They don't. I mean, to be quite honest, I don't really know I would have to do a little bit more research to see what in the world they actually get from us. You know what I mean? Aside from the liquid natural gas, whatever the case.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, so
I know what we get from China.
yeah.
And that's the very device that we speaking on.
Right.
Made in China.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Probably my glasses.
right. I wish I could see some of these comments. There's this thing in the middle.
What happens if you
No,
tap
no,
it?
no, don't tap it because I don't know what
Okay.
that is.
All right.
I don't know what that is.
Maybe this ain't the time to experiment. Go blank on the screen. Maybe let's not touch it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's all a plan. I think this is part of it.
Yeah.
This is part of it.
Yeah.
And uh one other thing, before we probably wrap it up pretty soon, but just the thought that war with Iran is war with all of BRICS.
Yes. Yep.
To my understanding, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Um, but I remember some months ago, BRICS signing it's like a military
Agreement. I think
agreement with each other.
Yeah.
That if one gets attacked, then the others come and help
Come to the
defend,
aid. I know.
come to the aid. Vaguely, I mean, I didn't make it up.
Yeah. Russia will defend Iran if Iran gets attacked, and so therefore
we can see how messy this can get. This can get can get very messy. And you know, Yahuwah is a good father.
Mhm.
And I don't know about you, but I've snatched my child out of danger before.
Mhm.
They didn't even know what happened, and that's okay, because I know that they're safe. And I'm trying to be, the best father I can. We're talking about Father Yah, the creator of all things.
Yeah.
And we're talking about his chosen people,
Mhm.
and a chosen people that have endured their judgment,
Mhm.
who are still here and who are ready to receive the blessings that he has prophesied that we will receive. And that
Mhm.
makes me think that things are going to happen real swift, because I don't think that the very patient bricks bear is going to sit and allow itself to be poked much longer.
Yeah, and with that, I don't foresee, and who am I? I'm just a person, but I don't foresee us ducking and dodging, missiles
Missiles.
and bombs and stuff with us being here, because again, the Most High promised to hide us until His indignation has passed. You know what I mean? He wants us to leave so that we don't be partaker of her plagues, and He does not want us to get what Babylon is getting, because this is her judgment, right? For how they did us, and so again, this is another reason why I see us being delivered very soon, because again, if we're on the cusp of straight up war, whether it's nuclear or whether it's whatever the case,
Nuclear,
if I right,
biological, technological,
yes,
um, um, list of things,
yes,
number
yes,
of things.
the Most High are not would not have his people, in my opinion, have his people running around ducking and dodging, bombs and such. And
So
so
I this
before
might
her
be
pain came, I keep going to that, but
this might be a good time to mention that dream that I had some years ago, where just briefly, um, I had a dream that we were our whole family, we were fleeing. Okay, we were trying to seek refuge.
Mhm.
Okay, it was in a big city environment. It was nighttime, and I distinctly remember military from foreign governments running past us
Mhm.
into the ensuing chaos that we were fleeing from.
Mhm.
Right now, I didn't look back at them. I just looked at them pass, and their helmets were low, and they had their arms, and they were on their way inside into the chaos, and we ended up finding refuge in a house, where the basement was like the sunlight was shining through the basement, looked like gold everywhere. Um, to put it briefly. Um, so
And may I ask you,
and
how do we get into the house?
okay, so we got
Because that's
into
important.
that is a that
That's
is
very
important.
important.
Okay, so once we got to someplace that was a little bit more quiet and weird, we're like, okay, let's find someplace safe. There was this brother from the continent, an African brother, and I knew he was African because he seen us running and he was beckoning us, and he was saying, "Come, come." As terrible as that accent is, he was darker than my beautiful, lovely wife by like 3 shades. Um, and he had a full shirt with some shorts on that came above his knees. So,
I didn't know he had
and this is just typically, hey, if it was hot like that out here, then we be
yeah.
dressing the same way. Anyway,
So the boss, I want you to know
he
exactly
just
who
wanted.
that was.
I seen his shirt, and I seen, I seen I seen what he had on. I seen his features. He was an African brother. Okay. And he said, "Come, open up the door." He went in the house. It was dark in the house. dark in the upper level until he led us to the basement door. The basement door was outlined with light, uh, and we opened the door, and it went down into like a winding stairway. Something looked like out of Bruce Wayne's house. Okay, only with more sunlight. Um, and we went down into the basement, and there was windows. And I just seen a beautiful scene, beautiful sunlight shining on everything in the house.
In the basement.
In the basement.
Which is incredible.
Which is where you go when you hide, ain't it?
But what did the Most High say? He said to shut your door, to hide yourself until his indignation is past, right? And so it doesn't take a genius to decipher that dream. Not at all.
No, it was very explicit, and I appreciate you being, helpful with my interpretation of that. It wasn't very hard to decipher what exactly, so on the Noahide. So
and then Keisha said, "Do you think it means I can't see the rest of it?"
So I'm gonna press it, and if this live,
we're just gonna say this. There is no, that didn't help. Oh no, don't do that.
Okay, that's
ignore that, y'all. Okay,
we're just trying to get rid of this thing.
This thing is in the way, and we can't figure out how to get it out the way.
Oh shoot! Okay.
Hold on,
I'm messing it up. Okay,
yeah, ignore that, y'all. Wait, maybe there's something we could do.
Streaming or looking up? No, we're not. We're not advertising. Streaming.
I'm sorry. No.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, ignore that comment. Okay. But now we can see what you said because it just moved out of the way. So, yes, absolutely.
I do think the continent's going to offer us refuge.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what it seems like the Most High said to him, because there's stuff happening. You see foreign military run past us, and when he told me the dream, he said that they didn't even look at us when they ran past us. They didn't even look at us. They didn't even look in our direction.
Because I'm running past, they got rifles, and automatically I'm like, I don't like guns, you know what I'm saying? But they didn't look at us. They didn't mean mug and like,
oh, he didn't.
They were looking past us like that.
No, he didn't.
And they had other business, which is the point I think was trying to be made to me.
And it was a brother from the continent that invited us into his house.
Right.
And we went and we hid, and so that's major.
And this is before a lot of the, at least a few of the countries on the continent of Africa started inviting us, back to my knowledge. Like they have been in the
mom and dad working the computer. We are.
Yeah. Let's work this thing.
Right. It took us like an extra 8 minutes just to get on because we was trying to figure this. I'm like, StreamYard got a new layout. Okay, what in the world?
Don't switch out the layout.
And come on now. And then we finally get on, and then we got stuff in the way, and so we're trying to read. Never mind.
Yeah. So,
can you please tell the dream about the about you getting fired? You want to tell that?
Oh man,
please.
I think I already did, didn't I?
No, you didn't. You didn't, because that just happened like a few months ago. You don't have to tell it, but I think that's major too.
Okay, so I guess to keep it short, because I thought we was just gonna be on.
Yeah.
For a short while. So I was in my place of work, and I was just working normal day, and I started thinking to myself, like, man, I shouldn't have called off that day or something. Basically, what happened in the dream is I knew I was going to get fired, right? I knew I was going to get fired for something, probably for leaving early or something, stuff that I want to do.
Yeah.
In that dream, I did, like, forget this place, right? So in that dream, I must have came back and started working. Like, man, I'm about to get fired for doing that. And sure enough, some managers called me to the office in the dream. I'm like, oh no, what's about to happen for real? About to get fired. So it was like a few managers. I'm like, man, with the CEO and stuff, the slick-haired folks. You only see the slick-haired folks when you really in trouble. The ones with the really nice hair, they don't do like the kind of work that is done on the ground. Um, so they say, come to the office. Shoot, I'm about to get fired. And I walk in the office, head down. I know all these people, behind me uh, about to basically terminate me. And I turn around
to face them.
And I turn around to face them, and I see this taller Nelson Mandela looking brother, and he's speaking to me in what kind of sounds like a really thick Jamaican accent. And he's saying things, and he's excited, and I'm like, I'm not sure what he's saying. Um, and he looks very excited. He looks very excited, and he said to me, a renewal is coming. What he said was a renewal was coming. And I was like, and the question that came out of my mouth was, is it a physical renewal or a spiritual renewal? And he said a spiritual one. And the dream ended shortly after that, but I have to mention that when this brother, this tall brother, he had some his hair was white and had some black specks in it. He looked like Nelson Mandela, right? As far as cheekbones and the right. He was standing there, emoting to me, right? And, sharing his excitement. And the managers that brought me in there, the bigwigs in there, they were just kind of looking at him
I'm sorry.
like he wasn't supposed to be there.
Like he interrupted the dream. Like you get ready to get fired.
We're supposed to be firing this fool.
And he showed up.
Angela Yah potentially coming here giving him a message in this. He's supposed to, like they couldn't do anything, like they couldn't go forward with the dream.
I'm sorry. That's incredible. Yeah, it's good.
So and we had really been experiencing a renewal at the time, right?
But not in the way I think that what he was speaking on is what's coming, like the birth and everything. I'm not.
I know, but in the midst of it,
just shifting
you could almost smell it.
Yeah,
like how you can smell a renewal real thick right now in the air. It's like it.
Yeah,
it's a pungent in a good way, right? It's not something you can avoid, right? And that's basically why I mentioned why she wanted me to bring that up. It was very interesting.
That's interesting, Cynthia. To the go outside, second this out because this ain't gonna do anything. Okay. He should have said, "Hell, that means they about to fire us. We leaving."
Yeah, did you fire us? Hand us that pink slip.
Yeah, don't let fear come in.
We waiting.
And, and a lot of people see microbiology. A lot of people have dreams about China specifically being on this soil. And you said that the guys that you seen in that dream, they had red hats, didn't they?
Helmets. Yeah,
red
helmets were red, and if the harder you think about something in a dream, the more that your brain starts trying to fill in gaps, and I'm not trying to fill that in. So I didn't see any type of what was that? I didn't see any type of symbol on it, but I knew the helmets themselves were red. Now China's flag is red.
Now what kind of red though? Because I thought you said it was like a burgundy-ish? Was it a darker red or was it
the only reason why it looked dark because it looked worn.
It looked worn. Okay.
It looked worn, but it was still red. So
yeah. Well, I mean, hey, maybe like I said, I don't think we're gonna be ducking and dodging missiles and stuff, but I mean,
specifically, maybe I think that it was trying to just tell us that there's going to be things happening in this country that we ain't gonna want to be a part of. Which is scripture. It felt like it was just like an animation of sorts, of us needing to get out of a chaotic situation
Mhm.
because judgment is literally passing us by, onto
On our way out.
on
Yeah.
onto the people
Yeah.
who have oppressed us,
Yeah. Yeah.
onto the nation that have oppressed us.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah.
I know a lot of people have been dreaming, and the dreams are going to continue to increase. I mean, even our children have been. Our children, like our 8-year-old, our has been dreaming a lot. Elijah,
Mhm.
um, and it's incredible. It's the Most High is really speaking. Most High is really speaking. And so we just wanted to come on and chit chat and just share some perspectives. I'm sure we're going to get off and be like, oh man, I forgot to mention that, or I forgot to mention that. But it's just been so much excitement. I want to say this. Speaking about what we forgot to mention. Okay, y'all. So yesterday, day before
I'm not
yesterday,
sure what you're about to say.
the Blackhawks.
Oh
So DJ was at. Were you at work?
no,
No,
no.
no, you were at work during the day. The first time we seen them during the
Mhm.
day. So DJ's at work, standing in my daughter's room. We're talking, and all of a sudden, here's loud, 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 loud sound. Now we've heard Blackhawks before, but it sounded like extremely loud, like it was really, really close. We're like, what in the world is going on?
Mhm.
And so then our oldest son comes and runs in the room, and he said that he just saw, was it one? It was one or two. He saw
He
one.
said,
Was it
yeah.
one? Yeah, I think it was one. He said he's seen
He said he saw two. I saw one.
that that was the first time. That was
No, that wasn't the first time.
well, he said one or two.
Maybe it was the first time because
No, he
because I wasn't home,
yeah, you were home. So the first time
and
he saw
then we were
then
outside later in the
that was the
backyard.
next day, honey.
Oh, that was the next
That was
day.
the next
Oh,
day.
yeah.
So he saw one, and he said that it was, he came running in the room. He said he's seen a helicopter, and he said that it was close to the ground. And I guess that's why it was so loud. And he said he could see the guy in it, right? We're like, oh, snap.
Hmm.
So I ended up calling you and telling him or whatever. But, anyways, so later on that day, DJ was out, and he was 30 minutes away from the house. And then he sends me a message letting me know he arrived where he, because we let each other know, hey, babe, I made it. I'll talk to you in a little bit. So he sends me a message. He's like, oh, by the way, you hear that in the background? I just seen 3 Blackhawks fly over the building. I'm like, what? In the same day. Then the next day, we're outside in the backyard. And then next thing you know, is loud, 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 loud. They seen 4. That was Manny. Manny, that
No,
time.
it was four. I saw three,
And then Manny
but
said there
it
was
was
4.
behind some trees
Yes.
on the other side of the house. So
4 more the next day. Now, granted, we live in a military town. We live in an Air Force town, right? But never, ever, ever have we seen 7.
no
7 of them.
Blackhawks.
7 of them in 2 days. We rarely see them at all. You know what I mean? But 7 in 2 days. And I got to thinking, well, they're all positioned over there with all their bombers and everything. They're refueling planes, all of that
Out
over
there.
there near Iran, and they're threatening to bomb Iran. And so if something were to, and they're going to have this conversation tomorrow, and if it doesn't go as planned, then according to Trump, he's going to do the obvious, right? And so with that being said, I'm like, are they gearing up? Because where are they going? Where are they all going? They,
Where they well,
just
I
start.
don't think it's where they say they're going.
You know what I mean?
They're getting
So
in a good enough proximity.
appreciate you, Carrie. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So war is imminent.
Yeah. They're getting ready to
Financial collapse is imminent. And our
Yes, they
exodus
do.
is imminent. Just straight up. And I wouldn't in my right mind anytime put a date on anything I think would happen, but we just have to keep our eyes peeled,
Yeah.
and trust in our Father, trust in Father God, because
Mhm.
He's got it under control. You know,
Mhm.
let's not get rattled. Let's stay composed, and let's let our Heavenly Father do His work.
Yeah.
And
Be excited.
let's just bask in the promise of change in our
Mhm.
lives,
Mhm.
and because sometimes it could be difficult to do what we have to do in front of us with our minds elsewhere, with our minds on the ultimate uh, destination of our homeland,
Mhm.
right? It could be as difficult for me, it's difficult for you, um, just to plan because we have ideas and things. We have things that we want to do. We're developing ourselves, things of that nature.
Mhm.
Let's just not. Let's like I've seen in the comments. Don't fall into fear, and just be excited about um, every
Yes.
piece of this system that's crumbling down.
Yes, and all of this is happening near Passover. I that's I've been kind of, on pins and needles about that. I was reading in second Esdras, um and I seen, oh, how our people will be sealed on the feast of Yah, on the feast of Yahuwah, right? The feast. And then I believe it might be in Jeremiah where it says he will gather us to the Passover, and I'm like, okay, it's it's a very, very convenient time for all of this to be popping off, I'll just say. So we've just been getting things in order, trying to keep things in order, but just making sure that we have what we need in the house for, because if it does, again, if Iran, or if they decide to bomb Iran and then we see sleeper cells, just come out the woodwork, we don't want to go out there. Even if we can go out there, we don't want to go out there. It's best to have things, in the house and everything like that, and have things in order so you don't have to go out there, and that doesn't mean you need to be able to hold up for 3, 6, 12 months, you know what I'm saying? But, even if it's for a week, until the chaos dies down a little bit, or 2 weeks, we don't know how this is going to unfold. All we know is that it seems like everything is, like, everything's squeezing in, and
It's a
Yah's
very
gonna pull us
condensed. It's
out.
a very condensed time period
Yeah.
too, as far as developments go, and uh, I think that's of yeah. That's um, it's absurd how fast things are happening, and
Yeah.
it's absurd how fast the days and months are going
Yeah.
by.
Yeah. Makes you almost feel like it makes you feel weird how fast time is actually moving,
Mhm.
but
We ain't gonna talk about that
yeah,
because they
that
say that's what comes with age and stuff.
no,
But
no, 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 no.
we ain't
That's it.
going
Not
down
it.
there.
That's not it.
Uh,
No, no, no. But it is, time is flying. But the most I said that he would speed up the days, he would speed up the time.
yeah,
And so, that's where we're at. And
these
so
are just
that's it.
some of the things that
That's it.
we
That's it.
that
That's
we
all.
talk
We just
about.
we just yeah, we're just talking, y'all. We're just talking.
And not to be like I said, not to be repetitive or anything. Um, but we're not trying to beat you down with information. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We're just talking about the information. You
Yeah.
know, how are we processing things? I'm curious about how you all are processing things too.
Yeah.
Because where we have made great efforts, as a community to unify. And though there's a lot of drama still, us as a people, we need a lot of work in
Mm-hmm.
order to really stay together. Um, you know, we still should get together, and just share our thoughts. It's something that's important. It's something that's important to us as children of Yah, just trying to navigate through all this.
Yeah.
It's just important to share our thoughts. This is why we came on. This is why we didn't just say everybody's already talked about it. Well, let's talk about it. Too.
Yeah.
Why not? Just because it's on every single thing that's suggested to you, on your news feed. Um,
That's
or
because it's
just
popping. It's
basically,
hot right now.
well,
It's hot out here. It's hot. You know.
just wanted to take the opportunity to do that. Um,
Mhm.
glad glad you all decided to kick it with us for a little bit, and I hope that we stay encouraged. We stay excited about this time period, um, because
Yo. I'm sorry, go
oh, I
ahead,
see.
babe.
Oh, yeah, you tripping me out now. Uh, so yeah, that's pretty much what we came on for.
Yeah, yeah. And I wanted to say something also. Prophet of Yah. Okay, so the dream that you had about the trumpet,
Oh, I see.
right? Okay, it turned into a rainbow, then the earth began to rumble under my feet. Okay, then you woke up. Okay, so oh my goodness. All right. That's incredible because oh my
So for
goodness, was it
confirmation.
2 weeks ago?
Oh,
Maybe it was about 2 weeks ago. Time is weird, y'all. Time is so weird, but it was recently. It was less than a month ago. I sometimes I wake up when I wake up, or when you're in that place where you're waking or you're partially asleep, but you're waking. The Most High sometimes he'll drop a word or whatever the case. But I kid you not, I was waking up, opened my eyes, and I heard horns. Right, but
oh,
okay, oh goodness, oh
oh,
goodness.
this was like a week and a half ago.
Was it a week and a
I
half?
think so.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Okay, I don't know if any of y'all remember this song from. And a lot of times, the Most High uses songs to speak to me because music. Though I haven't had much time, a lot of time, music has been really important to me throughout my life. But okay, I don't know if y'all remember this song from Peter Guns and Lord Tariq from back in the day called Uptown Baby. Uptown Baby.
I don't remember.
And in the beginning of the song, there are horns playing, and it sounds real regal, right? It doesn't even fit the song, but it used to be one of my favorite songs when I was like probably like 10. I shouldn't have been listening. But anyways, I woke up to these horns. And I'm like, why in the horn? And I was like, oh, that's the Most High. And it sounded like an announcement. So when I called DJ and I was like, babe, I just heard the horns from the Lord Tariq Peter Gunn song from the 90s, right?
Mhm.
And he was like, that remind me of what, when they be like, oh, hear ye, the queen has arrived. You have to listen to
If y'all hear,
I wouldn't
yeah,
recommend, recommend the
I
song.
won't be reenacting what I said too.
Or recommend the song, but like I mean it's not like a terrible song or anything.
I know it's just the first like 5-6 seconds.
Yeah, but the first like 5-6 seconds, like maybe 10-15 seconds is it's like real
It's like
regal
first like
horns.
4 bars.
Yeah, like it was incredible. But anyways, if anybody knows about that. Um but yeah, Tanisha said, thank the Most High. Thank him for keeping us in the midst of it all. Always thank, yes, absolutely, always thank the Most High. Just be thankful, and that's what he wants us to do. He wants us, in the no matter what you're going through, to give that Thanksgiving. And so yes, arise and shine. Yep,
Mhm.
yep. So that's what it sounded like. But yeah, we just want to share some things, in regard to just some thoughts that we've been having, and
Can't believe
in
the
regard
baby
to,
stayed asleep this whole
yeah,
time.
I know it was hard to get the baby asleep, but we got him asleep right, literally like 14 minutes before the live started. But he'll be up. We'll be up late tonight. But all right, y'all. Well, until next time, just wanted to share some things. Hope y'all have a good evening. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. If you're celebrating Passover, hope you have a beautiful Passover. We will be celebrating tomorrow evening. So, but I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And I'm looking at this. I see. All right. Y'all take care.
All right, y'all.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Yep. Shalom, shalom.